remember the song, the intro song?
Right.
No, we don't have an intro song.
There's no
actually.
intro
There's no intro song?
We're
Good to know.
recording.
Spencer Wharton.
Oh boy.
The Spencer Wharton.
The Spencer Wharton,
War
a.k.a.
Baby. Starting the war, baby.
That's me.
Starting the war.
Thanks for coming out, man.
Yes, man.
Thanks for having me.
You're,
Thanks for having me.
stoked to
we were
have
just
you on.
talking about all your projects, all the different things.
It's a
you've
lot.
done. You've been all over.
I can't even keep up most days.
But
perfectly
like,
honest.
Do you have enough fingers to keep
Where
up?
am I? We're
you're
somewhere.
in Arlington, Texas.
We're in Arlington,
You're safe.
Texas.
We are
That's right. Got
somewhere.
it. Cool. Thank you for that.
That's fine.
So while we were just saying it, the Infamous has pretty much been your main squeeze, your baby.
It's my
the War
it's my
Baby's
passion
baby.
project. It's my life.
Is that the starter? Is that the start of your music career? Is the Infamous?
It's the start of my like legitimate music career. Everybody's got those garage bands and
yes.
you know those like couple of college bands that didn't work out before I met Riley and started the Infamous. But we've been a band for 5.5 years now.
That's great,
That's
man.
I think we've played a little bit over 300 shows. So we're just
Whoa.
like
That's awesome.
killing ourselves
Yeah, that's what you got.
week in, week out.
Trucking on.
Yeah.
That's great, man.
Shit, we had a show last night and I'm still like kind of tired.
Oh, shit.
And we played early and I'm still
Really?
kind of tired. Yeah.
Oh, man.
So I'm here and get used to it. Yeah, something like that. I don't know.
It's all right. A little under the wind, but it'll be all right. It's Rockstar.
What got you into promoting? Because when we met you, that's how we came across.
Yes.
You're setting up shows for people.
Yeah, man. So basically, like, I was kind of doing it for, like, friends touring through and, you know, kind of, like, thinking about getting into it and working with some other people and just kind of realized one day, hey, I can do this better than a lot of people that are not paying me to do all the work. So I just decided, fuck it, I'm gonna do me. And then I just started working at Andy's in Denton in August 2015, and it's been almost 3 years later, and I've probably booked a couple thousand shows and just done my
That's
thing.
awesome,
you
man.
know,
Definitely create a name for yourself in the scene, man.
a name,
Yes, Wharbaby.
quotes.
Yes.
I just, you know, my whole thing has just been this whole time is like it's just to work as hard as I physically possibly can, and you know there are a lot of nights of no sleep or very little sleep. Actually, that didn't change. That's always been that way. But now at least it's, you know, my ears ringing. It feels like it's worth it sometimes. So yeah, I don't know. Like I got into it because you know my friends needed shows and they weren't getting booked and I wasn't getting booked, and what's the best way to meet everyone else? It's the best way to meet everybody else. I don't know. Like,
It is, man.
I did it to get the band going and where it is now, and you know, I've talked about this before in like other mediums and stuff, but like sometimes the Wharbaby Entertainment, Spencer is bigger than the Infamous. But then sometimes the Infamous are bigger than Wharbaby Entertainment, Wharbaby Spencer. It just, you know, it all depends on what arena we're in.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I met you guys at Crown and Harp. Rest in
No,
peace.
no.
We didn't meet
No,
at Crown
it
and
was
Harp.
actually-
Grotto, right?
The Grotto.
Rest
Playing
in
with Children of
peace.
Indigo,
Yeah,
rep
rest
it.
in peace.
Also
Oh,
rest in
Children
peace.
of
The
Indigo.
Grotto.
Oh, both places
Yeah,
rest
Grotto.
in peace.
Yeah,
Damn it.
that's right,
But Crown
man.
and Harp too. Yeah.
Why'd
we
you guys
Crown
have to
and
break my
Harp,
heart
man.
twice in one interview?
I know, man. Literally.
Man, you got to think you booked for those places their last days.
That's
That's true.
Awesome,
That's
man.
true. I
That
did.
is
right?
true,
I missed
man.
both those places. But yeah, I forgot
Dope.
that bill was January 12th, 2017. It was you guys, I Happy Am, LaCube,
man.
and Children of Indigo, if I'm not
Dude,
mistaken.
called
yeah.
it.
Wow. Oh my
Like,
gosh.
what?
Dude,
Wow.
mad props.
Wow.
Hard
I-
worker for sure.
My bandmates give me shit all the time because I'm like a human savant when it comes to dates and like
That's
lineups.
Dope,
That's
man.
perfect for
I
booking.
remember like way too
Yeah.
many things I shouldn't remember.
That's
You
awesome.
know what, dude? I do want to get into some controversial. You'll have like controversial.
If you don't put controversial, I'm gonna be upset, guys.
Uh-oh.
You have You have no idea. Watch Henry the Archer podcast, and you might
Yeah.
just see a dancing banana.
You just might.
I'm into it.
You just might,
Into
man.
it. What did I just say?
We're going controversial,
You're
apparently.
controversial. You're good friends with Black Pussy Band.
I am good friends with the guys in Black Pussy.
And how did you
Amazing,
get
man.
linked up with them, booking for them? You seem like to have a
So
close relationship.
it was just by happenstance and chance. Like, they got canceled on that 35 Denton a few years ago, and like I didn't know who they were before that, and I saw that they got canceled, and I was like, I like that band name. I think they'd probably be a good rock and roll band. Like, I understand why they're getting canceled. I get it.
Yeah, right.
I don't agree with canceling it just purely based off of the name and nothing else. But, you know, businesses have to advertise the way that they want to advertise, and I get it. They don't want, they don't want their name with Black Pussy on it or whatever. That's fine. But, we saw that, and then, kind of forgot about it for a couple of years. And then one of our friends up in Oklahoma City, our friends in Turbo Wizard, were like, hey, you guys want to come to Blue Note and open for Black Pussy? And I was like, yes, of course, please. And since then it's created a good friendship. They're really good guys. They get a bad rap
Yeah.
for
That's,
really stupid reasons, in my opinion. They're good guys. To all those out there that are going to challenge me on it, listen to their music.
At the end of the day, they're
The
just
band name
musicians.
is a band
Wow,
name,
man.
and I understand why you could get offended. There are band names in DFW that I find offensive. Personally, I get why you can be offended, but unless the lyrical content and the musical content itself reflects it, I like to think that I'm a pretty open-minded person.
Yeah.
So, and I'm probably not, but I like to think I am. And I'm not gonna shy away from the fact that they're my friends and I like their music. Until they start putting super racist lyrics in their music, what do you want from me? Like,
Yeah,
I'm
what's
just
the
I
band
like
name?
I like their music.
At the
They
end of the
play
day, it's a
awesome
band
groove
name.
rock.
I think even Teenage Sex from Denton. I think I saw something online about them almost just getting some shit from venues.
Which
some
is
venues.
stupid because they're awesome.
Yeah,
They are
yeah.
so good. Like,
Yeah.
Charlie's
Some
one of the
nuts,
best drummers in DFW. I don't know. It's hard to walk that line because I understand why people get upset. And I also try not to be tone deaf to that because I do understand why people get upset.
Yeah.
It's a hard fine line. I don't know. I've been accused of being a Nazi and a racist.
Well, things are getting
For
so
that.
fucking crazy.
Yeah,
Things
and
are
That's
people.
very true.
Trump
man.
Trump sucks. Okay.
Yeah.
No one. I'm pretty sure no one in this room is going to disagree with me.
No.
So even the guitars are agreeing with
The
me.
guitars are
You can
agreeing.
hear it. You can
And
hear 'em.
like,
they're singing. There it is.
I
yeah,
just
see,
like-
they're agreeing with me. And
we have so much.
Oh, yeah,
of
what do you
him
have to
we've
say today?
seen.
yeah, see,
yeah,
even the
yeah.
guitars are agreeing with
Great.
me. I don't know it. I'm not going to tell anyone how to feel and which way is right or wrong about feeling. I just know how I feel about it.
Yeah.
And they're good friends of mine, and I like their music, and I like playing with them.
Yeah.
And that's really all I've got.
At the end of the day, it's all up to the music, man.
Much
It's
past
just all up to the music.
that, my personal views on that subject don't really matter because I'm going to be wrong to a lot of people and I'm going to be right to a lot of people, and I'm not here to change anyone's
That's-
mind.
Yeah, dude.
That's all you can do, man. Stay true to
true.
yourself. You're not affecting someone. You're not causing violence. Let people live their lives.
Yeah.
Everything's becoming so progressive where it's hey man, think about these people's feelings.
And we should. I don't want to
Nah, fuck your
discount that
feelings.
for any reason. It's just, I like it, and that's really all I've got.
It's
Yeah.
a wild band name. If you can just laugh about a word or two, if you can just laugh that off, is
I don't know about
something
laughing it off, but I
Just don't hold it against him, man.
yeah,
That's
I
what-
enjoy their
and-
music. I enjoy the guys in the band. I think they're really good guys.
Yeah.
Much past that, I don't think, your opinion is either you like them or you don't, and you should just leave it there.
Yeah.
Going past it and starting ideological arguments over it defeats the purpose.
It is. Yeah. It's like, guys, at the end of the day, we just did a band name so we could just start doing music.
Pretty
It's
much.
like,
I
it
mean-
turns into this big deal. It's not even about their music, and it's just that's wild.
You got to stand out too with your band name. You got to have something that kind of gets you.
Yeah,
some
and I
attention.
agree
You
with that.
kinda,
And
you know?
again, I do understand why people get angry and defensive about it, and that's fine, and that's their right, and I understand. I get accused of being a racist and a Nazi a lot from people because I support the band and I book shows for them, and I understand.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day,
It's crazy, man. It sucks.
Yeah, it's pretty
I'm-
wild. It's pretty wild.
I like their music,
Oh.
and they haven't done or said anything to make me think otherwise in
Right.
my presence. If they did, I would rethink it 100%.
Yeah.
So again, much past like I like their music and I like the guys in the band, my opinion doesn't really hold weight or matter to
Right.
anyone because everyone's going to form their own opinions, and
Very
I'm
true.
not here to change anyone's mind.
It's very true.
It's just playing music, man. We're not trying to hurt nobody.
Right.
Well, hey, enough said, man. Enough said. That was an interesting topic. I
It
wanted to
was.
bring it up. I see you repping them. You know, you just have a good relationship with those dudes. You guys have played shows together.
Yeah, I
and
mean
stuff.
they're good guys, and I like their
Where-
music a
are
lot.
Are they even from? Are they local? Or?
No, they're from Portland, Oregon,
Oh shit.
but they have
Wow.
relocated to somewhere in the Southwest.
Very nice. Down to the festival
So-
area.
Let's bring it back. Let's bring it back. Infamous. How did you're doing Infamous, and then you decide I'm gonna start booking to kind of help tie into this. I'm already good at booking. You're a musician yourself. You're not screwing people out of money.
No, that I've never made any money doing this. And that's how you know I'm not screwing anybody over.
Yeah.
It's because I haven't made any money. Most of the promoters I know that make a lot of money are the ones stealing from
Yeah.
everybody.
Because they're trying to make that money.
Exactly.
Right, man.
And I mean, everybody's got to do what they've got to do. I get it. I've been on both sides of it, so this is always like a really weird like argument. Is like, man, you didn't pay me enough. I'm like, yeah, I wish I could pay you more. I really do, because I've been on the shit end of that stick many times, where it's
Oh,
like,
man.
damn it, I only made $20 tonight, or I made $5 because I brought one person, or I didn't bring anybody, and the guy was just being nice.
Or you didn't bring you brought people and you don't get nothing. You're like
I've been on all ends of that, business side and on the musician side, and so it's like I always feel really bad because there's not a whole lot I can do about it sometimes, and to be perfectly honest, I've lost more money than I've made just making sure people walk out with something in their pockets.
That's nuts.
That's
Man.
very noble, man.
Very
That's
cutthroat
nice of you.
business.
It is, and I'm
There's
not
no, like,
I'm not very
contracts
good
or
at it. You
anything.
guys are really nice, but I'm not very good at it because I don't make any money doing it.
Well, hey,
I mean,
it
1,000
goes back
shows,
to you
man.
being
Yeah,
a musician.
dude.
You know a lot of people in the music scene now, and whether you're putting a project together, whether you're trying to play shows, you've connected yourself with the
Yeah.
community, and that's what you need to do.
Passionate about it. That's for
I
sure.
love the DFW music community and the Texas music community as a whole. I've experienced just snippets from other parts of the country and even the world from touring bands and stuff, and listening to their experiences about their own personal music scenes. And something I've learned about music scenes from just listening to all these people is like there's drama in every music scene. This is
Oh,
not
man, yeah.
Sometimes people think that the DFW, any drama that goes on in the DFW music scene is unique to it. And I was like, no, there's just more of us here. So it just
Yeah,
seems
that's
like there's a lot more of it because there are more people here. But all music scenes have good venues and shitty venues and good promoters and shitty promoters. And they have the
statement.
good bands, the bad bands, the bands that get recognized, the bands that don't, the bands that should be recognized but aren't, the bands that are recognized that maybe shouldn't be. It's all just a crapshoot, at some
it is,
point,
man.
and it's just really interesting to like hear all these stories from all these guys I know. But at the end of the day, like I love the DFW music scene, and I want to see everybody get bigger and better, and that's part of the reason why I did get into the whole like promoting thing in general. Was I have a lot of friends that I just want to see succeed because they deserve it.
Oh.
And that's just my opinion. I could be wrong. I'm not, but I could be wrong.
Well, everybody wants
Trying to
everyone
help
to succeed in a way.
Hopefully.
No
You
one.
wanna help each other out, man. It's because we know there are the bad promoters,
Well,
and
and
bad guys out there trying
I'm
to
human.
screw us.
I get selfish sometimes. I know I've probably screwed people over. It happens. It's human nature.
Oh yeah, man.
And
You need gas money. You
it
need
happens,
food.
man. Like, this is just not a good business end to feel like money is all you're seeing.
Oh
Right.
no.
People who
yeah.
look at the end of the table and the only thing they see is dollar signs
Yeah.
are in it for the wrong reasons.
You're gonna be the one screwing.
Living
people
for the
over,
wrong
hurting
reasons.
Yeah.
That's what
agree.
it is, man. It's so you get so caught up on objects, and what you have and what everyone other, whatever.
Yeah, and don't get me
someone
wrong,
else
like people
has.
should
It's
get
just-
paid for their art.
Well, yeah. Of
Like I
course.
want to see bands get paid for the art they make. Cuz like I've heard so many songs from so many different artists in all genres that should be like singles on the radio and they should be
Yeah.
playing sold out stadiums cuz their songs are fucking phenomenal, you
Yeah.
know? And you see shit like Taylor Swift. And don't get me wrong, Taylor Swift knows how to write a damn good song. It's not that, it's just like
I mean, even worse than that, man. There's
sometimes
a lot.
just sometimes like the garbage I hear on the radio and the things
It's
that
the worst,
people
man.
worship as like
Dude,
the best music
yeah.
of a generation is just it's depressing.
It's very depressing, man.
And the Black Keys really let me down too when they kind of like stopped because they've kind of like petered out and kind of just they're in
Yeah.
hiding and
Dan's doing his own thing.
and he's
man.
doing his own thing because like they were bringing the blues back. They
producing,
were like the
yeah, he
blues
was, man.
revival was gonna happen and then it just fell flat on its
Well, and
face.
then they went with that super I feel it was Fast Forward Electric album, man. It was the one that's blue and red, and
Yeah.
it's, man,
Really changed
that one that's when they really took that step away from.
Well,
their
and if
true
this tells you
sound.
anything, like the Rolling Stones, my favorite band, they just won their first Grammy
That's wild.
at the last
Excuse
Grammys
me?
for a blues cover album that
Oh
they did.
my gosh.
That was their first Grammy ever. They've been a
Damn.
band for 55 years old, I
Yeah.
think, something like that. And first Grammy,
Jesus, man.
they won the blues Grammy.
That's insane, man.
So I don't know. I don't know.
Props to the
This
Stones
We were just
finally.
talking about that, how they were, during that time. There's a lot of this. Everyone was going psychedelic, but they just kind of,
They
kinda
stayed
in
they
their
stayed
lane,
course.
they
They
just
had their
stayed jamming
ventures,
that
but
blues.
they
did,
definitely
yeah.
had their sound, man. They
No, that's,
definitely had their sound.
that's like my favorite band. Like
Yeah.
we could just spend the rest of this talking about the Stones.
Let's do it, man.
Yes.
What were their influences?
It's
When
like
did they start playing?
Keith Richards is like my favorite guitar player, and like
He's
Okay.
dope, man.
he's
Doesn't play with an E string.
yeah on one of my
So
one of
so
the-
crazy. Yeah.
one of the
little low
tunes
E.
on my upcoming record is
and
an
A.
open G.
Oh shit! Nice.
It's 5-string Telecaster with a humbucker, straight broad fucking chords and straight broad riffs, and it's
Nice.
like when you hear this song, I guarantee it. Like when people hear this song, they're gonna be like,
Stones.
he really likes the Stones. And if you didn't know that or you didn't get it from the rest of it,
Yeah.
I really like the Rolling Stones. Keith Richards is my favorite guitar player. I'm gonna beat this with a hammer for
That's
the rest of my
awesome.
life. And I sat down one day and I took a string off one of my Telecasters, and now it will never have 6 strings on it again. And I wrote a song that is in that vein, and it's just got that vibe. And I don't know.
That's awesome.
I
man.
miss that, because I see so many bands that don't sound like the Stones, but they just got that rock and roll vibe.
Yeah.
And
That
like
nice classic
it's
rock.
true even in like metal too, where I see bands that are getting famous and on the radio, and I'm like, this is shit metal. And then I see guys like out here in DFW, and I'm like, why are they not the band everyone knows? Because they're
That's nuts.
actually like putting real time and art
Into the music.
into their music, and I feel the soul in the metal. Like I don't know.
There's never been so much easily accessed like content, music.
And that's part of the problem, which it's good and it's bad.
Yeah.
Because now
There's both
everybody can
sides.
play music because you can write electronics,
Yes.
write with electronics, things like that. It devalues music
Yes.
in a really weird way, but it also ups its value in a really weird way because anybody can do it.
Yeah.
It used to be nobody could do it.
Yeah.
And when you think about like in the 50s, playing guitar was not something people wanted to do.
Nope.
And it was
Saxophone.
weird, and like now like everybody wants to be a musician, and that
It's
like
true.
that in and of itself is a beautiful thing. I think we just need to return to a balance.
Yeah.
Major balance.
Like we need to like balance out this idea that everybody is special and anybody who can write a song
Yeah.
can do it, you know?
Yeah, that's what, man. Because, you have people that, spend their entire lives, like, mastering their thing. And you have someone that can, hey, learn 3 fucking notes on a piano, and they've got 17 million views on YouTube.
Not to say that my songs are any better than anybody else's. I don't know.
Sounds like that's exactly what you're trying to
No,
say.
I don't, like,
Like,
I think I write all right songs. I don't know.
At the end of the day, you gotta write music, though. At the
Yeah.
end of the day, you can't jam in your room. You can't do. You have to actually structure something to
Right.
put it together, and that's why some of these people who might not be as good of musicians or something, they're out there doing it and they're making it, and you're like, that's bullshit. It's like, well, you know what? They have the work ethic.
Yeah.
Sometimes,
Yeah,
the
sometimes
good
the
people
work
don't
ethic
have
is
the
all
work
it takes.
that's it, man. That's it. Just
I don't
gotta
know.
Try.
It's just, across all the levels of success I've met, there's no one right formula, and that's
No.
like the one thing that pisses me off more than anything.
It's true, dude.
Is because the way my brain works is like, if there's a formula, do the formula, and then it works. Music is not like math. It's not
Nope.
true.
No,
There's no one right way to do
No.
a certain thing.
there's no
and
right
it
or wrong, man.
bugs the shit out of me, guys.
It's the beauty of it, too, right? It's the beauty of it, too. It's the beauty of it.
It's the
man.
beauty and the curse.
Yeah.
Music, especially in 2018, is it's so cyclical.
You can
and
say much. You can say so
well, no, I mean, I just look at all these things that are going on in the world of like music and politics and just the human race's existence, and there's so much good and there's so much bad, and I think people just focus too much on the bad, myself included.
Well, of course. Yeah, man.
Because Rebecca Black's "It's Friday, Friday," that like
Yeah.
wasn't a good song, and nobody thought it was a good song, but it got viewed how many million times because it was a bad song. And that's what my big thing has always been, really, when it comes down to the core of it, is don't be bad for the sake of being bad. I have an issue with that, and I think a lot of, and this is not exclusive to DFW, this is not exclusive to Texas, it's everywhere, is like
It is
sometimes
everywhere.
people like try to be bad,
Yep.
and then people are like, oh, that's real art. And it's like, is it though?
It's so true,
They're
man.
good at it. They're
Yeah.
good.
Okay, they're good at being bad, but
Yeah.
like,
That's
Yeah,
what sucks
it's
for.
really
That's what I was.
confusing.
That's what I was trying to get at, man. It's like they do something like that, and it sucks because I mean, you actually do care about music, and you see someone do that, and it's just like.
but
It's 2018.
I'll also book it
2018.
though, because if they're really super passionate about it, then I want to help propel it.
Yeah.
I just, that's part of the other thing about like this promoting thing, is like I have gained a really wide range of musical palette that I didn't have before I started it.
You're a little more open-minded, right?
Yeah.
That's how I felt. The more I'm out there playing with bands, I'm just more open to them than if I heard it on my.
I also know like I don't like certain genres, but then I'll meet bands and I'm like, wow, I really like that band, even though I don't like the style of music they play.
It is so true.
So-
So true.
It's all a goddamn crapshoot. Fuck
It
if I
is,
know,
it
guys.
is,
It
man.
is,
The more
man.
you know, it helps when you meet a band, and not every band. I hear a song and I'm just judging it at face value. I'm like, this sucks. But you meet a band, you kind of know their instrument, their gear. You kind of know a little bit of like where they're coming from, and then you hear that music and it's a little more informed, and you're just more accepting of it from being informed about it. Like I kind of know where you guys are coming from. with
It's
that.
like I was telling you earlier, like music is a weirdly intimate thing.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
and you guys know, you play together, you play music together. Like, playing music with someone else is like this insanely weird, intimate thing that's
Oh
like
my God.
closer than anything you can ever have with another human being. And it's almost its own thing.
It's insane.
And
It
then,
is.
like, being a, music lover, because, like, everybody likes music. I don't care. Do you listen to music? No, I don't listen. No one says
Yeah,
that.
no.
Everybody listens to music, but like there are people out there who are like legitimately avid listeners, you know, and that aren't musicians, and those are always my favorites.
Yeah.
Are the people I
Yeah,
see that
right.
show up to my shows that I know and they're not in bands.
Yeah.
They just love
They
it.
just love
They
music.
just love music.
And so like
those are the people.
there's
Yes.
a
Shout out,
very
Tanner.
weird like intimate level of being a listener to. Music is the weirdest thing humans ever did.
That is your song. Like you write a song, someone can attach themselves to that song in such a strange way that you don't. It's their song now.
Yeah,
Like
they
you
interpret
give that
it
song
their
away to
way.
people because at
It's
that
really
time in
cool.
their life when they heard that song.
I
it
hope I
affected
write
them.
good enough music for that. I'm not sure.
We'll
Anybody-
see,
I
man.
mean,
We'll
anything,
see.
I guess
man,
we'll
yeah.
find out.
Yeah, we'll find out.
I don't know. I
believe.
played a house show once by myself, and this chick kind of just looks at me. She raises her hand and she goes, "Who hurt you?"
What?
I was like, "Well,
Oh shit!
I don't have enough time. Like, we could spend 3 or 4 days on
the
that."
next band is
Like shit.
Should have been like, do you want to be the one? To
Yeah,
comfort
do you-
me?
That's like the running joke now with the band is like when Riley introduces me on stage, he's like, "And this is the Wharbaby. You can find him on Tinder, farmersonly.com, Christian Mingle,
Farmers Only.
whatever." I would be a beautiful farmer, thank you.
Yes.
You know, he just like lists off everything, and it's like, yeah, be the next mistake and ruin my life. But then, like, you have to be really careful when you joke about that, because then you manifest reality, and then that's like, it happens,
Right.
and it does, and it did several times. A lot of people hurt me. It's fine. And who could want to hurt me? Look at
I
me.
know,
This is a
man.
face only my mother loves.
That's right.
Give a nice shot right there, Tanner.
That's
It's
right.
like, this is a
Only
nice
my
zoom.
mother loves this face.
Little glamour shot.
She might not even love this face. She might watch this and be like, "Yeah, I don't know you."
Who's this?
No. My mother is very loving and supportive. She's the best.
That's awesome, man.
That's good. That's good. Gotta have that
That's
support.
awesome. Yeah, and speaking of support, like growing up, did you pick up the guitar when you were like super young, or I
My
mean, you said
dad-
drums, right? You said you
Yeah,
started with
my dad
drums.
played guitar and I played drums in the living room with him, and we like jammed like the songs we listened to on the radio. You know, like Jefferson Airplane and
Fuck yes.
some Stones
Right.
and
That's dope.
the Eagles and a lot of Skinner and Buck Owens and stuff like that. And my dad is the reason why I play music now.
Let's say yeah. it
When
sounds like the
he
roots.
died when I was 16, I inherited his guitars, and like it just kind of like was a weird like epiphany moment where I was like, I need to do this.
That's awesome, man.
And now this is what I do.
But when did you were playing in Infamous after that?
Yeah,
After-
yeah.
oh, when you're older-
Several years later.
But now you are doing kind of your solo thing. What made you want to step away or start doing that?
Well, so I'm a songwriter, and I've had songs that didn't like make it into the Infamous, and I was like, well, I have them. What are you gonna do with them? And then after a very long period of sobriety and reflection last year, in the middle of last year, I just decided, it's time to go give these life and let them be heard. And I've been playing some solo gigs recently, and all the feedback is positive. You guys sat here and listened to me wail, warming up my voice beforehand, and none of you like ran away.
Threw something at you.
Yeah.
Yeah, threw a shoe at me and told me to stop. So I guess they're okay. I don't know. It's just it's stuff that didn't quite make the cut for the Infamous because it wasn't heavy enough, or it just doesn't fit the vibe or whatever. And now I'm just writing songs all the time because I've realized that I can use them. They don't have to be for the Infamous, which is really nice. And I started like another band to like use that as an avenue, and I don't know, like I just decided that I could write songs, and so I just kept going.
That's awesome.
Just
man.
not
Don't
everything can
stop.
be an Infamous song, just like not everything can be a Spencer Wharton song, just like everything can't be the Static Creatures, which is my new vehicle for music. Like, can't be that either.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm currently working with my friend Anthony Coker. His band's Anthony Coker and the Majestics, and like I'm producing his record right now. It's an 8-track album. It's called No Expectations, and it should be out summer 2018. I think is when we're gonna try and get it all
Very
said
cool.
and done. And like
Shout out.
I wrote 2 of the songs like on that track or on that album, 2 tracks on that album for him and with him. One with him, one for him. And I don't know, it just shit gets weird, man.
Yeah, you know, doors open.
Yeah.
You just kind of you just said it earlier. There's no one formula. There's no one way to do this. You just kind of going with
Yeah,
the flow.
2018 is like my like awakening year of music because I've got my solo record and then the Infamous have our 3rd record Through Hell and High Whiskey. It's our first like legitimate 12-track album. So like the last one we did was a 10-track. This one's a 12-track. So like we really like people will laugh at the difference in the 2 songs, but like
Right.
that 12 versus 10 is a whole different. Go listen to any album that's 12 songs versus 10 songs, and I guarantee you 12 always has more detail and like there's just more to say, and it's harder. It's just a lot harder to do, and I don't know, we just kind of grew up from Thrill of the Hunt to our one we're working on and about to release right now, Through Hell and High Whiskey.
That's awesome.
And so I've got Moonlight Devotee, which is my record, Through Hell and High Whiskey, the Infamous record, and then I've been producing and recording with Coker for his album No Expectations. So in 2018, I'm going to see 3 records that I either played on, wrote on, or worked on
That's awesome.
in some
man.
capacity. And it's humbling and frightening and wonderful and a lot of weirdly wide range of emotions.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Anxious for sure though.
Well, I'm already always anxious.
Oh, that's
So,
great.
That's not anything new. I'm a very nervous human being. My hair is going silver. I just turned 25 last month, and I'm already halfway silver.
Oh no.
Salt and pepper, man.
I just really hope
Salt
that I
and
look
pepper.
like George Clooney someday. It's not gonna happen, but that would be nice.
That was like one of the number one things.
He's
They
like
love that
this.
great
He's
one.
won Sexiest Man Alive like 8 times.
Right.
He's my idol.
That's nuts. So like,
Spell.
so for the Infamous, do y'all write like a bunch of songs and narrow it down, or like when you write a song, you're like, Infamous, Spencer?
Well, that's how it's been lately. Usually, there were only like 4 or 5 songs that I've written before I started writing a lot, and like decided I was going to do the solo record that weren't Infamous songs. And 3 of them are going on my solo record, 1's going on Coker's record, and then 1 I'm still sitting on and probably going to release as my own project somewhere else down the line. But no, mostly I had just been writing for the Infamous, and we have this like really weird like writing like phenomenon where like I'll just give Riley a song title and then he'll just write the whole song.
Wow, that's a good idea.
Or sometimes he'll
That's a
like
good idea.
have this song written, he doesn't have a chorus yet, and I haven't even heard the song. I don't know what it sounds like. I don't even have the words to the verses, and I'll just send him like a snippet of something that I just came up with, and it fits perfectly. That's happened 4 or 5 times.
Wow,
cool,
that's
that's-
weird.
Where like we were vibing on wavelengths across the universe.
Yeah. You
Dude,
play
the
together, you
interwebs.
start to think
Chemistry,
think
man.
alike, and that chemistry
Yeah.
starts to build.
Also, just like he specifically is also just a super phenomenal songwriter. I love his process, and I love the way he writes, and I love watching him write. I can't do it the way he does it. The way he does it drives me up a fucking tree. But it's fascinating to watch.
What does he do?
He'll get like out like a notebook, and he's got the title, and then he like writes out things that relate to the title, and he like dissects the song before he's even got like a word of actual lyrics written.
Wow.
That's cool.
And I can't do that. I just write.
Yeah.
the lyrics, and then I'll like sing it back over the chords, and if it doesn't work, I fix them till it does.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's like, there's no one way to do everything.
There's no one.
No.
way.
But yeah, like, I don't know, like the way I write songs, it just depends on what the project is or what I'm doing.
Right.
Sometimes I've written songs, everybody's got that song they wrote in like 3 minutes. I've done that. I've anguished over them for 6 months.
Yeah, right.
I had like something that I sat on for like 4 or 5 years, and then I met someone else who finished it because they had an idea that like hit it. I don't know, man.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's just
I don't even remember what the question was, but it was something about songwriting.
It was definitely
like how does the writing process of the Infamous go? Like how do you
Oh,
decide?
yeah.
Or do y'all write a bunch of songs and then narrow it down to choose for your album, basically?
Usually, we'll write and write and write and write. And very rarely do we have to narrow them down because we stop writing them if they're not good.
Exactly, right? You don't waste your time. at
Yeah,
all.
we move on if we don't feel
Yep.
it. Or we hold on to the idea in our back pocket and
That's
wait for
right.
something else later.
Okay, cool.
I think with this one we had like 15 total tracks, and then we narrowed it down to 12.
12, yeah.
And then but those other 3 songs we don't play live and we don't ever do anything with, so we're probably never going to record them.
Back pocket, never know.
Yeah.
Pick from them.
Yeah, something like that. And like recently we just wrote 4 new songs, and we've all agreed that those are definitely going on whatever this 4th album that is yet to be.
16-track album.
I don't-
16-track album.
The
Jesus.
band actually was able to top themselves with even more tracks every album release.
You have to talk to them about that. I don't think either one of them.
48
I do
tracks.
like the 12-track albums though, like compared to the 10 tracks.
See, I'm doing a 10-track for my
Oh,
personal one right now.
Sorry.
But no. I understand. Like I would have done 12. Like I've written a few more songs since I started this whole process. It's just like for in this instance the 10 were cohesive.
Yeah, it comes back to you're writing. You're like, I don't want to put out something I'm not completely satisfied with. But just logistically, it's like if I'm going to present the people something, 12 songs is really nice.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. I don't know if they're gonna want to do 16 or not, but
17.
we've definitely
It's all right.
we definitely got four ones that we're like definitely sold on right now. Which
Very nice.
at this point for the last one we weren't sold on that many tracks yet. So like the writing process is almost streamlined because it's like we try to write at least a song a month. And we're pretty good about writing at least one a month, but lately it's been like just
Fire.
firing on all cylinders
man.
because I'm constantly creating on my own, and I'll be like, oh, hey, here's what I wrote. Do you like it? And they'll be like, yes or no. And then if they say yes, then we just go for
Yeah.
it. And they say no, well, then I'll just keep it and do whatever I'm going to do with it later.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, my favorite way that we write is when I've got something and I've got like the chorus and a riff, and then Riley writes the verses, and then Ryan structures the songs.
Gotcha.
And when we all like have like a legitimate like third of the work, those are my favorite songs. Is
That's
when
awesome.
there's clearly defined sections of the song that you can tell each one of us had a part in. Those are my favorites.
Right.
Because we've got the ones that like I wrote all of it or Riley wrote all of it.
Yeah.
You know.
It happens, especially
Yeah,
with
I mean that
musicians.
does happen. It's fine because like they're good tunes.
It's
and
kind of
like
what
we're,
you want.
we're very democratic about it. Like if we don't like a song, we don't play it.
Right.
If one guy really doesn't like a song, we don't play it very much. We're very democratic about it in that sense. But yeah, no, my favorite is especially when Ryan gets involved because like our drummer doesn't like play guitar and bass, obviously like we do. So like when he
Right.
sits there and he sings something to us and like tells us this is where this goes and this is where that goes, we listen to him because he's always right. It's phenomenal like how he just has like this
Just listens, man.
he just has this
He just has an
ridiculous
ear.
working knowledge of like how our songs are supposed to sound before even I know what they're supposed to sound like.
You can kind of see and hear outside what y'all are doing.
Yeah,
and
that
put
boy
together
is
well.
like insanely talented. Ryan's just stupid good. Like he does not get enough credit for the infamous sound. Riley is a really phenomenal guitar player, and like I have a big head and a big ego, and everybody knows who I am. Obviously, since I'm here and people talk to me,
Yes,
I'm the guy that talks to everybody. But Ryan really does deserve most of the credit for the sound of our band. He is by far and away best drummer I've ever played with or worked with, and he's one of the best people I've ever met too.
That's
And
awesome.
that helps a lot.
Yeah,
also,
when you can find that in a band.
well, yeah,
man,
he keeps me and Riley from killing each other all the time, so that's a plus. But
and that.
he definitely doesn't get enough credit for what he does for us. So I just like to throw that out there.
Nobody
and have-
knows
Definitely.
what the drummers are doing in secret.
I want to just have that out in recorded history that Ryan is the reason why we are who we are.
That's
And he
awesome.
doesn't get
That's
enough credit, so
cool,
here's me
man.
giving him some credit.
How did you meet Riley and Ryan? How did you
We-
guys come?
We met on Craigslist.
Surprising and not surprising.
Like I met Riley on Craigslist, and then we had a couple drummers, and we met Ryan on Craigslist,
dude,
and now we're best friends.
you
I met my best friends on Craigslist.
That's
dude,
right.
you
I'm that guy.
emailed or I emailed you. I remember you were on Craigslist, dude, years before I met Caleb.
Yeah.
I will. I won't. I remember you had a picture. That's the only reason I could.
Oh,
it's
yeah?
Like you had a Gmail account, so I'm like, oh, this is that guy. But you lived in Denton, and I was like, I can't be with a band in Denton because it's too far of a drive. So I didn't do. But you were wanting to do a blues thing, and you guys were looking for a drummer. or
Yeah, you
something.
could have been the drummer of the Infamous.
Man,
That would have been crazy, man.
but, hey,
I would have never.
time will tell.
I would have never been here. I would have never been thought of.
That
man.
that is a trip, right? I would have moved to Denton.
Yeah, right. Who didn't?
I gotta say that again, Ryan has been a gift. He's on a whole nother level. Like, and like there are drummers. He'll even tell you. Like I hear him say it all the time about how there's drummers out there that are better than him. Like I know there are. There's always gonna be somebody better. I suck, so both of them make me look really good. And to me, he's the best drummer in the world. That guy his personality is fucking amazing. He's a good person, and damn, can he play music.
That's awesome.
I've never vibed with a drummer like him. There's something about the way him and I communicate on stage, in the studio, writing, what have you.
You gotta have that
That's awesome.
rhythm section too, man. Bass and drums.
Yeah, there's
Gotta
something
have
about
that
something
connection.
about the way he plays that I just like latch onto, and I don't know.
That's cool. That's awesome, man. Especially as a bassist talking too. You know,
It's a
bass and
really
drums.
weird concept because like the Stones, for example, like they play to Keith Richards,
Yeah.
like they don't play to their drummer,
Yeah.
and like Ryan's a human metronome, but the Infamous play to me,
Yeah.
because we're a 3-piece. So I'm like kind of like the band leader in the sense of like the feels and the grooves live.
Right.
Maybe not in the practice studio or practice space or the studio, but live, we kind of play to me a little bit, and that's a really weird feeling, especially as a 3-piece, especially when you got Ryan on drums. But I'm like pretending I'm following him, but he thinks he's following me. So I don't. We're the
Bro,
blind
that's-
leading the blind, really.
That's
Yeah.
literally so funny. It was Matthew says it to me. He's like, dude, I just follow you on stage, man. I said, bro, like I follow you because you're the drums.
Yeah,
Like,
'cause
are you
you're the
kidding me?
guy.
Like,
What
do
are you
mean?
doing?
Like, you're the backbone. I follow
What?
you, Obi.
That goes back to that intimate connection, man. We can't explain. You can't explain the chemistry between bandmates on a stage playing together for people, and they're the only ones who knows what's going on.
Oh yeah, and you know,
locked into each other.
playing with Riley too. Like, Riley has the best stage presence of any guitar player I've ever seen, on a local level, and even up to like middle to famous level. He understands his instrument, even though he's not like classically trained. He understands his instrument and the role of what it plays in the style of music we play. And sometimes I just stop playing and stare at him because he blows my mind sometimes. And you know, being up there with him, sometimes it's like being up there with a god almost, and it's just not like I'm not worthy. Like that's how I feel about playing with both of my bandmates a lot. Like, I have a really big head and big ego, and I'm the Wharbaby and all this shit. But like, when I get up there sometimes and we play so damn well, but this happens even more when I think I had a bad night, and I'm just like, wow, like I get to play with you guys. Like, I am not good enough to play with them. I still don't. 5 years later, I still don't know why they keep me around. I don't think I'm good enough to play with them.
It's a good attitude to have. That's you have respect for them, and you're always inspired by them.
Being challenged by it too.
What was y'all's first show like?
First show with Ryan was the same place that Riley and I had our first show with our other drummer. It was at Haley's, which doesn't exist anymore. Oops. Rest in peace.
That's all we talk about here.
It's 3
Yeah.
3 and 1.
Oh, we've played so many venues that aren't open anymore. It's depressing.
Oh, don't
But
mention
it was good. Like 20 people there. Like
How long did you have your first drummer?
like
before
4
you-
shows.
like
3 or 4 shows.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What happened?
Just, things fall apart. People
Vibes.
don't agree on things. The original drummer's a good guy, and he just, we just didn't quite see eye to eye on everything, He's a little bit heavier and more punk than I am, and the music that we play, because we're a 3-piece Trins blues
Yeah.
and not punk, even though it's loud, and things just don't work out. I know you guys have been part of projects where people just leave because things get difficult.
Yeah,
And
man, it happens.
It's not anyone's fault. It's just sometimes it just doesn't work out, and that was really what happened. It just didn't work out.
You gotta have thick skin you just gotta understand the whole. You gotta have big picture. It's not personal. It's
I would
not-
also say that I think that the original drummer Aaron has thicker skin than I do. it just didn't work out. I don't, for whatever reason, it just didn't work out. But
But I mean, thick skin in the sense of like he leaves and y'all just understand. Hey, we don't have to hate each other.
yeah, no,
This
exactly.
Just doesn't work.
Yeah, and it just doesn't work. And then we got Ryan, and Ryan's perfect.
Yeah. There we go. Sometimes
it,
that
man.
happens
Yeah.
too.
We should just turn this interview into how perfect Ryan is.
Yeah, right.
I really
Ryan's
wish
pretty
Ryan was
perfect.
here.
I kind of wish Ryan was here too.
Praise Ryan podcast.
But
Alright,
yeah,
well,
he's
Where'd
great.
you get y'all's band name, or how'd y'all get
Oh,
that?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Infamous. That's
We were originally going to call our band the Infamous Gallery because Riley and I are history majors, and we're like really into like history visuals and things like that. And
very cool.
we were like thinking like the original artwork was going to be like us walking down a hallway, and it's just like got all these like crazy history characters paintings around us and stuff. And we still may use that concept at some point. I would really still like to use that concept if they ever watch this. But then like Riley came to me and he was like, "Why don't we just be the Infamists?" And I was like, "No, that's way better. Like, holy shit, that is so much better." God, we're stupid for not thinking that first. And then that's what it was. And that's what it
was
be.
that,
Like that.
man.
Yeah. There's
That's
no
awesome.
real story behind it other than like the story behind the name is we grew into the name.
Yeah.
That's cool.
People know our live show as what it is because of the name. Like we weren't like this rowdy rock and roll band we first started. I was 19 when this band started. We were like kids. We're still kids if my mom's listening, but we were like couldn't drink. Like not old enough to drink yet, and timid and shy, and is a whole different world, almost 6 years ago. And we kind of just grew into it, and the stage, it just got rowdier and drunker and drunker and drunker and drunker. And still it's getting drunker. Even though I'm sober, it's still getting drunker as we go. And we've lived up to our name, I guess. And it was just really weird how like the name didn't fit at the beginning, but
Yeah.
now
You feel like now
it
the way you
fits.
explain it.
Yeah.
That's a good way
That's
to put
awesome.
It's like the reverse way how a band name is supposed to work. It's supposed to work from the get-go, and then you outgrow it and change it.
Right.
But instead, like, it didn't fit, and now we've grown into it, and it's perfect.
it. You know what? There's no one
No right,
way.
yeah, there's no one right way to do anything.
What's your biggest on stage mistake? Most embarrassing?
Well, I mean, I've ripped out strap locks and
Oh gosh.
pulled
no.
shit. Last night I was walking out in the crowd to go play in the crowd, and I pulled the cable out of my bass amp. Like, it happens all the time. I do stupid shit all the time. It's endearing though. I think that
Yeah.
people like want to see it sometimes, and I'm more than willing to oblige, even if it is by accident.
Somehow.
It's fun, man. Got to keep it live.
I've never
keep it
had like
fresh.
one like super like publicly embarrassing moment, but I had like a really embarrassing moment like on stage during a sound check once privately to Riley and Ryan, where like I was like, guys, there's something wrong with my amp. It's not playing. I don't know what's going on. Blah 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 blah. And I like had a pedal board, and like it just wasn't plugged in. I was freaking out, and like,
Oh,
and
shit.
all the pedals weren't plugged in properly. And Riley just looks at me and he goes, "No more pedals for you." And that's why I don't play with pedals to this day. Is because I'm not allowed to.
That's funny.
Hey, man, you got to learn how to play with pedals. That's
Yeah.
for sure.
It definitely, dude. Yeah, there was a time where I didn't know which went into which side, man. YouTube.
I still don't. So,
YouTube
and I'm
is-
not allowed to. So, go figure.
You can find anything. on
That will.
YouTube
I
and
think
that's-
that also reflects. That will reflect in my like with my solo record because there's like no pedals. It's all clean.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
Post production, man.
I don't own any guitar pedals, so because I'm not allowed to. I have been told I'm not allowed.
It's all about the play. All comes down to the player.
Right. As a
Then I'm screwed.
as a show promoter, man, this is probably going to be a very tough question. You may not even give me a straight answer, which I totally understand. But what's your favorite venue?
To throw a show at or
Uh-oh.
play.
It's
two different things.
To
Yeah,
play. Let's say
definitely to play. Yeah, to play.
That's got to be a tie between Dan's Silverleaf
Mm.
in Denton and the Blue Note in Oklahoma City.
No.
Oh wow, very cool.
Which, if you've been to both of those places, they're vastly different. They're so different, they're not even like the same thing.
really,
But
that's awesome.
they're not even really comparable because they're two completely different venues and stages and sound systems. But
What's
yeah.
like one thing from each? Just this, like, is it?
well,
just-
Dan's has like the best sound
Okay,
Okay.
cool.
by far in a way in Denton anyway. And then Oklahoma, like in Oklahoma at the Blue Note, like the bar, like the crowd, the energy, the vibe is
Yeah.
it's a shit kicker rock and roll bar.
That's cool.
Dan's is not a shit kicker rock and roll bar. It can be if the right bands are playing there.
Yeah.
But the overall vibe is not that unless the night calls for it.
Right.
The Blue Note is like that
All the time.
all the time, never stops. Always a shit kicker rock and roll dive bar, and I love it.
That's cool.
And I guess trees,
Oh,
because
yeah,
we finally played trees a few weeks ago, and like
Nice, man. How was that?
I still can't believe that we did it. We crossed off like this big like band bucket list, and like we still talk about it. Like it's been like 6 weeks or so, and we're still like, guys, we played trees.
Play trees, man.
I can't believe we just played trees.
That's.
Oh my God, we played trees. Like I'm like I'll get a Tinder match and I'll be like, "Sup, baby? Yeah, all those pictures, they were at trees." Like I just like it's all about trees. I don't know. It's trees was great. But I feel like that was like the generic answer, and you didn't want trees because that everybody, even the people who've never been on the stage at trees like trees. Like
Yeah.
Trees
It's a
is
cool-
great, man.
it's a good
It's
venue.
yeah. I mean, besides the Bomb Factory, it's like one of the biggest over there in that area.
yeah. So, but Dan's and Blue Note,
Dan's
definitely.
and Blue Note.
That's awesome, man.
yeah.
And
And then to throw a show at, Crown and Harp.
Ah,
see what was
Rest in
well,
peace.
you got to explain that. Why would that be a favorite to throw a show?
There was
Yeah.
something about that bar. There was magic there.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was.
It was a cool place.
It
I
really
liked
was,
it, man.
man.
I liked that spot.
You know,
I mean,
it was the first place I made a little bit of money doing this, and it was a place I fell in love. It was a place that like I never had a bad show playing or throwing. I always had fun when I was there. There's just something about that place.
yeah.
is it something else now?
Yeah. What's
Is it-
the?
is
You
it
know,
I
any
have no idea.
updates? No, nothing, man. Nothing.
I haven't
Wow.
heard anything, but I don't know.
I have no idea. All I know is that
TBD.
there was like this magical bubble around that building, and there's just greatness there. I don't know what it was. Some places just have that.
Yeah.
It would even be a night when there'd be like 4 people there, and it would just feel like we were in a stadium listening to like the best thing you've ever heard, and it wouldn't matter what was playing. There's just something about that spot that had that magic, and I miss it very much.
Yeah, it's sad to see
It
it
is
go. Man. I'm
sad.
glad we played it at least before it shut down.
Yeah, man.
Is that what's your favorite show ever played? Would it be one of the shows, a show you've had at the Blue Note because it's a shit kicking
Well,
crowd?
I don't want to say trees because that's trees.
It's trees.
Yeah, right.
It's okay.
You know, we recently had our 5-year anniversary show at Abbey Underground in November, and that was a really like emotional thing for all 3 of us. We played well, and like I wasn't expecting us to do anything less than play well. You know, very rarely do we all 3 walk off going, "Fuck, we played like shit." Usually, just one of us does. Most of the time, nobody does though. But there was something about that show specifically where it was like we looked out in the crowd and you see like people who have been there week in, week out, 5 straight years, people who had never seen us before, people who we hadn't seen in years.
Yeah.
They were like, "Oh, it's your 5-year anniversary show. I have to be there." You know,
That's awesome.
a lot of people in the community that are in other bands came to the show.
That's
Out of like, not only because they love us, because they respect the achievement of 5 years is a long time.
It is, man.
Bands don't last that long anymore, so there's just some kind of like
yeah.
achievement and feeling of like gratification that I got from that.
Absolutely.
Oh, dude, 100%.
And that's being respected by your peers. You know, it goes back to the community and stuff.
Yeah,
that's
it's just
nice. Just
And
having-
you know, that's not why I do it. It is nice when that happens. It's not why I do it, but there's just something about that show. We all kind of like teared up after we got off stage and like hugged for a minute and kind of had like a private band moment before we like went back out in the crowd. Before and after, and it was a really humbling experience to like see like a crowd of like 200 people like there to see your 5-year anniversary show.
That's
Yeah.
awesome, man. That is something special.
Definitely. That sounds super cool. That's a good one. All right. What about other bands you've seen? Your favorite show, best show you've ever seen, most memorable, just fucking blew your mind. Another band.
Man, you're throwing the hard one. I see so many bands. It's really hard to like pinpoint and narrow down
Yeah.
any one performance.
Try to for the sake of answering the question, block out more local and think more like your national touring acts.
Oh. When I saw the Stones,
Oh, well.
There you go, yeah.
Where'd you see him?
AT&T Stadium in 2015.
man,
That was my
nice. I
graduation
remember
present
that.
to
Is that the
myself.
first time you seen him?
Yeah. And
Man.
it felt like every lifelong childhood dream came true in
Oh,
a
man.
really weird way.
Man.
I got a glimpse of it at Robert Plant. I didn't get the full package.
Yeah, he saw Robert
but
Plant
I
at
saw
Bomb
Robert
Factory.
Plant. I wanted to see Jimmy Page, guitarist.
Yeah.
Didn't happen.
Never
Is,
gonna see that, man.
Never gonna see that.
I don't know. There was something about just like seeing them do their thing, and they're
Mhm.
still doing
good.
Unreal.
There
Yeah.
might be better, actually.
Yeah, right.
They might be like fine wine. They might get better as they age. I don't know.
This
There's
is the
something.
prime.
There was something timeless about that, and they played deep cuts. They played hits. They played Moonlight Mile off of Sticky Fingers, and like that was Mick Jagger comes out and goes, "This is only the 5th time we've ever played this song
Wow.
live," and I was just like
That's nice.
blown away. And like I had never heard that song, and I'm like a Stones fanatic. Like they're my favorite
I mean,
band.
Dude, they have so many songs.
Yeah, they have like 400
Literally,
songs.
right? They just
And
set up a mic and just like,
I've
"Fuck it,
like
let's do it."
listened to all of them, and like I had to like go look it up after the show, and I like sat down and listened to it, and it's the only track that Keith Richards never played on because he missed the studio session that day. So it's
Oh,
all
wow.
Mick Taylor,
Oh wow.
and I was like, that's probably why they don't play it live.
Yeah.
Huh?
But also like it's a ballad, and it's like a psychedelic ballad, and it's just not their sound.
Huh.
So I get why they didn't play it, but it was just like really weird to like hear a band that I grew up idolizing play a song I didn't know they had.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like a few Zeppelin tracks were unreleased, and they play them every now and then on like 97.1. You can find them and stuff. And then shit, they just released that Jimi Hendrix thing, the live in the studio. It was some whole thing he did with a few unreleased tracks and stuff like that. It's always cool hearing that, man, just because you think you've heard it all of them.
From the legend.
Yeah, from the legends. Man, it's just like, what if Hendrix was alive today? What would he say about 2018 music and what's out there, man?
Yeah.
How different would
I
music
actually think
be?
he'd probably really like it.
You
Who?
think?
To be perfectly honest.
Hendrix?
Yeah. I think a lot of those guys would like it because they would appreciate the progression.
Yeah.
I don't think they'd appreciate the progression away from the guitar.
Yeah.
But I do think that like a lot of them would be really interested in like the electronic side of music.
There's an interview with Jim Morrison. It's on YouTube,
man,
and
yeah.
it's pretty cool. It's just him saying an interview with him, and he's talking about, I can see in the future one man surrounded by mostly computers, a lot of digital things, and that will be the live performance. That will be music. It's like, yes,
Yep.
yes, that is a
Here
huge
we are.
Here we are.
Thanks, Jim Morrison.
He called it, man.
He
It's
planted
like,
the seed
it's
in all
like
of our minds.
Jim Morrison predicts the future of music.
Yeah, right.
That's what it's called. It's a prophet. What else do we got here? Next album. What are you working on? You got these 3 albums.
We're gonna start from the back and go forward on this one. So, I'm producing Anthony Coker's record. He is a very good friend of mine. I booked him a lot of shows. We've written songs together. He's another one of those guys where like I've just sat down and every time we pick up guitars, something happens. The older I get, the rarer that is, I find, because like I've jammed with people before. I'm like, yeah, that was really cool what we did, but then like you forget it
Yeah.
the next day. But like there are select people that I've like met over the course of my life where I just sit down and magic happens every time we get together. And it might just be magic to us, and I'm fine with that. If it's just magic for me, that's good enough for me. But I'm producing his record. I sat down with him, and he was telling me he was doing another record, and I was like, well, I want to come sit in and just listen. He's like, well, why don't you, like, produce it? And I was like, well, I mean, I'm not an engineer. I don't record. Like, that's not my bag. He's like, I know, but I like your ear. And I was like, all right, let's do it. And I think that I like to think that you can hear my influence on him a little bit. I like to think that he and I are going to create something very beautiful. I really hope that everybody enjoys it. I'm loving what he's doing. He's phenomenal. I didn't do a whole lot. It's mostly him. He didn't need that much help. He's a phenomenal musician. He's a phenomenal singer. That's gonna be 8 tracks, and I wrote 2 of them. One of them's the single. It's called Harlot Oscara, and it doesn't sound anything like Anthony Coker. So you're really gonna enjoy that. If you go listen, like I implore the people who watch this to go listen to Anthony Coker and the Majestics and listen to their music. I actually wrote a track off of his first album that he did. Also, it's called Tale of a Troubadour. I wrote the words and helped a little bit with the music, and I still think I'm biased, but I still think that's the best track on his first record. But this next one we're doing's got 8 and 2 songs of mine, Harlot Oscara, and then him and I wrote together the song. It's called Jack Daniel's Express. And everybody likes whiskey. I like whiskey. I miss whiskey. But whiskey brings me to the Infamous. We're about to release our 3rd studio album. It's called Through Hell and High Whiskey. It's 12 tracks. It's got a couple of fan favorites like the Johnny Walker Blues and Devil Inside. And it's got this is the first time where like we've actually like written like songs for us that are recorded. Like we've got a couple of songs that like we don't play very much live, but we recorded them because they're good songs and they're more for us than they are for maybe the listener at large.
Yeah.
So I really hope that when they get past like the first 5 songs, the singles, they really delve into it and like listen to like the stuff that kind of just got written a little bit for us.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
You might see a slightly different side of us that you haven't really seen before.
That's what a band does, you know. You kind of give them something, and kind of pull them in, and be like, "But listen, now you can really listen to our heart and soul." You know, this is a little closer to us.
Well, we're just a bunch of angry 20-somethings, I guess.
I just wanted to ask, man, who hurt you?
Yeah, who hurt me? A lot of people did. But yeah, no, I'm really proud. I'm really proud of this upcoming record. It's a culmination of 5 years worth of work, but also the songwriting on this is way more even and balanced between the 3 of us than I think it has ever been on the first 2 records. So I think that you're getting we finally kind of got 100% the sound we envisioned when we started.
Yeah.
It's got all my favorite songs we play on it, so I think it's going to be a phenomenal record. I hope it's going to be a phenomenal
When
record.
is that out? Do you have
We are about to release our 4th single off that album, Anchors, in probably 2 to 3 weeks' time, and then I think that the whole thing is going to be a summer 2018 release also.
Very nice, very nice.
And then, but the reason why I'm here, other than you guys just like my company, which God only knows why, is I'm here promoting my upcoming solo record, Moonlight Devotee. It's a 10-track album. It doesn't sound anything like the Infamous. The few solo gigs I've played and people have come to listen to me are like, whoa, that doesn't sound anything like what we're used to. It's like, well, that's the point.
It's different.
I'm doing it to prove, not only to prove to myself that I have depth as a songwriter, but I just, want people to know that there's another side of me.
Yeah.
I like all kinds of music, so I would like to just show that I show it this way. I don't know. It's
You could really go any route, when you're a musician, you start taking in so many different influences. You can kind of see yourself almost in any type of different.
Well, also too, it's just really nice, as much as I love writing songs with Riley and Ryan, it's nice to like have like creative control over a song all my own too. And like I said earlier, these are songs that like don't make sense for the Infamous, so it's really, really nice to have this sound of my own that's of my own creating. It's my unique thing, and there's no one else's voice inside of it except mine.
Right.
But I'm also living or dying by it, and that's scary as shit.
Oh yeah.
Like, oh my God, if this sounds really bad, it's all on me.
Well,
I have no one else to live or die with it.
That's what you gotta do.
That's why you got 2 producers, right?
Yeah.
Letting you know.
Hagen Housshield and Eric Dano, they're great. They know me better than I know myself when we're in the studio together. And they have told me no, which is why I wanted them on the project. They told me no.
That's good. You gotta have someone around to be like, no.
Yeah.
Really? No.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, and they were right too, because then I would get like the playbacks and I'd be like, okay, you were right. I had a bad idea. Thank you for saving me from this bad idea of mine. Oops.
And you record it, you can hear it, and you can be like, yeah. Someone just be like, yeah, but they
You
explain
probably
themselves.
shouldn't do that.
Yeah, you're like.
There's a lot of just, you probably shouldn't do that, but more often than not, it's, I'm not going to hit record if we're doing that. And oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah,
My bad. Sorry I had a bad idea.
Don't you fucking dare ask me to record that.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
I respect Eric a lot for that very reason, because while he's a recording engineer and that's what he does for a living, he also really cares about what he's going to put out and what he's putting his time into. And he basically insinuated that if he didn't like the music that I was producing for him to record, he wouldn't do it. And I respect that, because he's putting as much time and effort and creative energy into it as I am.
Right.
True. He's gonna have his name on it too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and Hagen Housshield, he's in like 4 bands, and
He's
he's
a drummer, right?
He's a drummer.
Yeah, I
he's
think
in
I've
Kites
seen
and Boomerangs,
Yeah.
Moniker, Samus Davis Jr.
Yeah,
He's
for
Megan Story's drummer. He's all over the damn place. He's
Jeez.
my studio drummer. Like, he probably doesn't want that on his resume, but he's my studio drummer, as he is for several other people. And
Seen Kites and Boomerangs, man. They're really
yeah,
good.
no, they're all every band he's in is phenomenal, and of course the drums are amazing.
Yeah, he's
But
good drummer.
he's like my emotional like support animal through this whole process, because he'll just be like, "No, it's okay. You're fine, Spencer. You're talented. Calm down." I get really unsure of myself and really like negative and downtrodden very easily. I'll play a guitar part wrong on a scratch track, and I just want to scrap the whole project.
Oh shit.
It's like this weirdly odd, like, I'm not a perfectionist, but I am a perfectionist in a sense that, like, I just want it to sound good. So if, like, a happy mistake happens, cool, but oh my God. Like, I can't even, like, describe, like, the neurotic thoughts that go on in my head when it comes to my own music.
Everyone's their own worst critic.
That's right.
I think
man.
it's what makes you a good musician to begin with.
You guys did not throw shoes at me and tell me to get the hell out of here when you just heard me just kind of
No,
dicking
dude,
through
I
it.
kind of have it halfway off. I was close.
You were
but I
thinking
was
about
like,
it. Well, at least he didn't.
Yeah.
You know,
I
at
don't
least
think
he
I had
didn't.
shoes on at the time, but I went and got my shoes.
I'm gonna
I was
Just in
prepared.
case.
Just in case.
They were like, you know what? We're sorry we invited you. Please don't ever come back.
This was
Goodbye.
a mistake.
What is that? A 16-string guitar over there? What is this?
I love that guitar.
It is.
I really do.
beautiful, man.
It's,
shout out to the guitar.
It's like
That's a good
it's like my baby.
Jeez.
Like when I showed Eric all of my songs for the first time, he was like, "Yeah, man, I can hear a lot of 12-string." And I was like, "Shit, I don't own a 12-string. I guess I gotta go get a 12-string." And so I did. And now it's like my main instrument. Like I write on this guitar. I play live with this guitar. I don't see very many people, anybody really, playing 12-string acoustics.
That sounds
Um,
very nice.
It's a great conversation starter for that very reason. Get
Right.
people come talk to me about my music. It's just a beautiful guitar. And it
really
sounds
is, man.
great, too. I love that guitar.
Jumbo.
12 strings
It's
is
beautiful,
where it's at.
man.
Yeah. But I have a lot of guitars, but that's my favorite acoustic by far.
That's
kinda
awesome.
gorgeous
Is
guitar.
that gonna be featured on your Spencer Wharton album?
Oh yeah, no, it's all over it.
All over it.
It's
Beautiful.
all over. It's on every single song.
That is awesome, man.
It's actually the only guitar
That's on the whole.
that's
album?
on the whole album.
That's
yeah.
awesome. That is awesome, man.
What's your shows like? Solo shows, Infamous. What's coming up? Do you have any booked?
All right. So I'm just gonna try to rattle them all off because I got a shitload of shows.
Get ready.
Let's do it.
So I don't know when this is gonna be out.
Like, neither do
a
we.
week or two. Yeah,
A week or two.
Okay, well I'm just gonna go ahead and just mention the gigs that will have passed by the time this is out, so that I can look cool and say I have a lot of shows.
Yes.
So I've got this upcoming Thursday. I'm literally gonna list all of them, guys. Sorry, this is gonna be a long ass list.
Go. For it.
So March 15th, I'm playing at the Aardvark with my new band, the Static Creatures. We're gonna do like this little we do this song swap style, where like me and the other guys like song swap, and then we play the songs we've written together at the end,
Oh wow.
which
Yeah.
is really fun. That's going to be at the Aardvark in Fort Worth on the 15th. The 16th of March, the Infamous are playing at Tin Panther with Rose Garden Funeral Party,
Yeah.
Manifestive, and the Gutter Demons from Canada, which is going to be really fun.
That sounds.
Where's
crazy.
that?
At the Tin Panther in Fort Worth.
In Fort Worth. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I hear of that place. I've never been.
I
there.
just started working there, so that's probably why you've heard of it. It's great.
Whoa, Gotta go. We're having
Yes.
Rose Garden Funeral Party on here too. So
Hell yeah. I love Rose Garden Funeral Party. It's
Great
one of my favorite. Leah's like my favorite.
super cool.
March 17th, the Static Creatures are playing in Austin, Texas at South by Southwest for an unofficial showcase at Key Bar
Congratulations.
at 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Very nice.
On the 18th of March, I'm playing at Hole in the Wall in Austin, Texas as a solo gig. That's might be my first out-of-town solo gig. I'm super excited. March 23rd, the Infamous are playing at Abbey Underground again for Diesel Beast's CD release party. I highly recommend the Diesel Beast gentlemen to you guys.
Diesel
You
Beast.
should have them on this show.
Diesel
They're
Beast.
fucking
I'll have to look
amazing.
'em up.
Do you guys
Definitely.
like Iron Maiden?
I'm not bad, dude.
Okay. Yeah.
Do you like
Iron-
dueling lead guitars?
Oh, of course.
Do you
I
like songs?
badass,
Do you like
not
songs
so
about
badass.
dragons and castles?
All right, now we're talking.
Okay,
now
then
we're talking.
I knew I would get you
Yes.
eventually. You should have Diesel Beast on here. They're fucking phenomenal. They're releasing their first record. I'm super stoked to get it. That's on the 23rd, the 25th at Double Wide. The Static Creatures are playing. It's gonna be a Sunday night matinee show. It's gonna be really fun.
Double Wide is a sweet spot.
And
like that
then
place.
now we're gonna get into the meat. Because April's stupid. Like April's stupid
Oh,
busy.
man.
The 12th of April, we are at Harvest House for Kites and Boomerangs CD release show. We're playing it the 13th of April at Wits End in Deep Ellum.
Friday the 13th.
And then, let's see that. Next week, we are playing at Reno's Chop Shop on April 18th
Man,
with Black Pussy and Bull by the Horn.
non-stop.
April 19th, we're up in Norman, Oklahoma at the Deli. April 20th, we're at the High-Low Club in Oklahoma City with Turbo Wizard.
420.
That's right.
April 21st, we are at the Live Oak Ballroom in Monroe, Louisiana with Astro Motel. Good friends of mine from Louisiana.
Sounds awesome.
And then the 27th of April, we are at Sunshine Bar in Arlington with Astro Motel. They're coming through on a little weekend tour.
That's
Very cool.
that's the place right next to Caves.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That place.
that's a fucking phenomenal place to play. And then the last thing we have booked at the moment is May 3rd at Gas Monkey. We are opening for Consider the Source at Gas Monkey Bar and Grill.
Hell yeah, man.
Yes.
Yeah, Bar and Grill.
Packed
Gas
schedule,
monkey.
man.
Yeah,
Dude,
well,
Thank
being
you
a
for
booking agent
squeezing us in here, man.
rocks.
Yeah.
Really, man.
See, like you have like 3 or 4 of those. Those are like back to back. Like
Yeah,
17, 18,
man.
19, 20.
Yeah.
Multiple.
Going at it, man.
Yeah.
That's super
That's
cool.
awesome. Is there a website, Facebook, Spotify links?
Facebook.com, the infamous Facebook.com, the Wharbaby. Wharbaby Entertainment has everything up also.
Static
Static Creatures is up
Static
there.
Creatures.
I have a Spencer Douglas Wharton music page that is not visible yet because I am going to put, just so everyone knows, there is a page. I haven't made it visible yet. I'm going to make it visible and likable and followable once I release my first single off my solo record. But until then, nobody can find it.
Very nice.
Smart,
I'm
smart.
anticipating.
Stuff to look forward to.
Yes.
And
A lot
also
of
Anthony Coker and the Majestics.
Anthony Coker and the Majestics.
Yes.
No Expectations, his record that I produced, which is going to be so good. And it's not 'cause of me. Like I didn't do hardly
A little
anything.
bit, just a
He's
little bit.
no. He by himself is a phenomenal musician. He didn't need my help. He's just really nice. Gave me
Just
something
happened
to
be a
do.
part of the
Just wants a
process.
fan in the studio.
Yeah,
Well, you're
pretty
working
much.
hard, man. Jesus.
Most definitely, man.
That's
Most definitely.
that's some badass.
Passionate
dates.
about it. That's what's.
I
that's
know.
what's
I'm taking
amazing.
most of May and June off. I need
Enjoy
a break.
your summer.
Yeah.
I'm gonna need a
Enjoy your
huge.
summer.
I need a huge break.
A little packed.
Thank you for
Jam-packed.
coming out here,
Yes,
man.
for having me,
Thank
guys.
you so
We're
Appreciate
gonna
it.
have you
much,
play
man.
some songs, but this was great, man. This was
Yeah.
great.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
having me, guys. I appreciate
No
it.
problem, dude. Thank
Retro
you for
Lab
coming out.
Records.
Signing off.
Signing off.